this is Edwin Olvera from Edwin Olvera Dance and Creative Services. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about persistence and why I find it very, very important for any freelance artist. I'll share a story with you. So, about 2004, I auditioned for a company called Olvera Dance Theater. First time I went with my twin brother, and we were put through like a ringer of a week-long audition. It was basically, what was it, like less than 40 hours worth of stuff interacting with the company. Anyway, at the end of the whole thing, after auditioning with 40 other guys, I got picked within the last 4 rounds, my brother, myself, and 2 other guys. I didn't get the job. So then, I wait about another 6 months, and in that time, I train. I train in partnering, I train in improvisation, I watch a lot of videos of the company themselves and how they work and talk, what are some of their interests. And then I go back again for the second time. The second time is in New York. I went again with my twin brother Roberto, and we auditioned. This time there was about at least 50, 60 guys auditioning. Again, another week worth of stuff. The second time, halfway through the week, we had a chance to go up to Connecticut, to where the company is based out of, and work with the members in their setting. And just like the first round of auditions, we made it to the last 4 guys. They really liked both of us. They just weren't sure what to do, so we didn't get picked. So then another 6 months pass. Somebody tells me just off a whim, hey, you know, Olvera's having an audition again for male dancers. You should go out there and do it again. I said, you know, I'm actually pretty tired. I don't know if I really want to do it. Well, somebody spread the seed to me, one of the teachers at EWM. They said, you should really go check out the audition. Just give it a shot one more time. So I said, fine, I'll do that. Again, I train, get myself ready for it mentally, physically, and I go, whoop. And I said, this is the last time that I'm going to do this and see what's going to happen. So, before I continue on, I just want to show you that being persistent sometimes means you have to wait close to a year to a year and a half to get what you want. I'm going to continue with the story. So I go back, this time with 3 people. My twin brother, Roberto, a guy named Joe Franzi, and myself. We go to New York. This time it's at a different place called the City Center. And still another week-long session. About 40 guys, up to 50 guys who were auditioning for this. And I just kept watching what they were doing. What I mean by watching is I was watching what all of the other talents were doing as in their improvisation, so that I could see, okay, how can I change myself from every single time that I've auditioned to look and be a different person in front of their eyes. And it helped. It helped a lot. And I think that's one reason why I got hired, because I was showing that I was versatile. But I was also showing that I was persistent, that I really cared about that position and working for that company. Because most times when people go for an audition, and if they don't make it through that first round, they quit, they give up, and they don't come back. They get super emotional, and they say, oh, I wasn't the right time, blah, blah, blah. I knew that I was right for the company. I just didn't know when the time was going to be right for them to agree upon hiring me. And sometimes being persistent means that you have to just wait those moments through, the moments where you feel uncomfortable, the moments where you get super emotional and you're like, I'm just going to give up and I'm not going to come back and do this. You have to get through that barrier, and once you do, it becomes easier to handle. What I mean by easier to handle, it's easier to handle the rejections that come along with being persistent, and also the length of time that comes along with it. You know, sometimes things happen. A person's life changes in a day, but sometimes you have to wait 1.5 years to 3 years to get what you want. Make a long story short, I got the job. It was on my 25th birthday. And as a matter of fact, they called me on my brother's cell phone to say I got the job. So, but I'll tell you where there was something else that was persistent. My brother was persistent too. Although he moved over to California, he still wanted to perform for a company similar to Olvera, or anything that was in that form of movement and vocabulary. Well, sure enough, another 6 months later, after I had been dancing with the company, My roommate, her name is Heather McGee, was a Momix dancer, and I told her about my brother. And she said, well, I can try to set up an audition for him. So sure enough, Robert was persistent enough to fly back all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast to do this audition, and he got the job. I'm sharing these stories with you because sometimes people want things to happen overnight, and it just doesn't work that way. Unless you're super connected and incredibly financially stable, or financially well off and money can be given to you and you can do things to happen quickly, for the average person, sometimes you have to wait, and that's okay. Because in that process of waiting, one, you become humble, two, you start reflecting on what didn't work. And the third thing is, you learn to be efficient. You learn to see where areas in your life or in your movement or whatever you're doing, or whatever you're trying to achieve, you learn to become efficient with those tasks so that you're not wasting time and that you're getting straight to the point of what you're trying to say to people, what are you trying to sell, or what you're trying to get. I'm going to share another story with you, and it had to do with when I was with me receiving my BA in dance. So I just received my degree from UWM after 10 years of performing as a professional artist. So that means when I took the job at Palables, I left at the age of 24, turning 25. I had this career doing professional work for 10 years, and I was finally given the chance to go back to school this last August. And I finished actually this month, the month of May, on May 17th. But it's taken me 10 years. And there were times where I thought I was never going to go and finish my degree because I was just so focused on my career. But I realized, no, that's one area that I wanted to have closure. And in order for me to do it, I had to go back to school, do the studying again. And there were moments where it sucked, and there were moments where it felt uncomfortable. But again, being persistent, I found my way to get through it. I found my way to be efficient with writing, even with my disability that I have, of being dyslexic. I found ways of using text and audio and making stuff there. I found a way to, taking advantage of the resource, the writing lab to get my stuff corrected. Making these videos, I found a way to do this stuff. People, sometimes you just gotta stick through it and know that when you want your dream to come true, it doesn't happen overnight, and it does take time. I'll share another story. This is the last one I'm going to share with you for this video. In 2011, I made a vision board about all of the companies that I wanted to work with here in Milwaukee or within the Wisconsin region. And I was very clear: Pride Fest, the Kohler Art Center, DanceWorks, UWM, MJDS. These are places that I was trying to reach, to connect with, because when I moved back here in 2011, I didn't have those ties, and so I had to start from scratch and then reach out to people, let people know that I exist. What the vision board did for me was it would help me look at all the ideas that I needed to go and to achieve, and I had to be persistent. I kept going out there and connecting with these people, reaching them. Okay, why am I sharing that with you? Because now it's 2005. Sorry, it's 2015, and in those 3 years of making that vision board, I finally made the connection with the Kohler Art Center. I'm sharing this because, again, it's like, you may put something down on a calendar, but it might not come to life in a day or 2 days or even in a week. Even if you're persistent, even if you're following up on cold calls and sending messages and going out to social events to meet these people, just the fact that you're constantly going to these events or planning certain things to happen, just being persistent in that area, you will get what you want. It just may not happen in a deadline that you were looking for. But the key thing is just don't give up. Don't give up. Even when times are tough and it feels like things can feel a little shitty, right? And at times you may lose a little hope because if you're doing your own business by yourself, just hang in there. Great things will happen for you. but be persistent and don't give up on your dream.